Hey guys, and welcome back. So today I want to share with you everything that I've learned about healing acne scars, because when my acne healed, it's something that really bothered me. I guess I really wanted to get rid of all the reminders of a very unhappy time, which I'm sure you can relate to if you're also somebody else that's really battled with having acne prone skin and really breaking out. If you also feel the same, then I really hope this video will give you hope that there are plenty of options out there, and I for one have almost completely got rid of my acne scars. My acne, because it was quite cystic, left indented rolling scars and fat loss. So that is basically the result of having quite severe cystic acne as I did. And when I first set out researching how to heal them, I was met with so many statements and articles basically telling me that it wasn't possible to heal them. I kept reading words like permanent, which definitely made me feel discouraged, but I knew that my skin was able to heal. I just believed it, and I set out on this mission to just do a ton of research. And by the way, they were wrong. Like I said, I've basically completely got rid of my acne scars. Granted, you might not be able to completely get rid of your scarring, but there are certainly so many options and treatments to definitely help improve and heal your skin. But to be honest, who has perfect skin anyway? If you have acne scarring as well, then I promise you, you're still lovable, you're still worthy, still beautiful. Acne scars are normal, and I promise you they are more common than you even realise. So firstly, by scarring, I definitely mean like the indented or raised textures on your skin. I don't mean the discoloration, like the redness or the dark marks that are sometimes left. That discoloration definitely fades in time on its own. I actually went through a course of laser to actually help heal my red marks. I'll leave that link on screen and down in the description box as well if you want to see that video. But that is essentially a different treatment altogether. Today I'm just talking about the scarring. So the first thing that I came across when I was researching treatments for my scarring was acids. And by acids, I mean lactic acid, I mean glycolic acid, salicylic acid, essentially ways in which you can really exfoliate your skin, smooth out the texture of your skin to create essentially a new surface. I tried this for a little while with very limited results. I think it's great if you've kind of got discoloration or you've got some textural issues like blocked pores and things like that. But for deep scars like I had, like the indented scars, this really didn't touch it, with the exception of TCA cross, which I'll come on to in a moment. I think it's super important that we understand how a scar actually forms in the first place. Once a cyst actually forms, the healing process has essentially already begun. So the swelling that you see, the redness, is basically your body trying to kill off the bacteria. And once that bump eventually flattens, your skin is at a race really to try and protect itself. So it kind of knits itself back together, and its main priority is to protect you rather than to look completely flat. This doesn't always allow for time, unfortunately, for collagen to rebuild and structure that skin as it would have done once upon a time. So yes, essentially you're left with like a small indentation, sometimes a larger indentation, depending how quickly your skin has healed. So it's really important when dealing with acne scars that we concentrate on the lower levels of the dermis and stimulating collagen production. So back to the treatments, and as I was mentioning previously, TCA cross is definitely an option that I discovered quite a few times when I was doing some research. And I discovered that this was best suited to ice pick scarring, so more of the kind of narrower but kind of deeper scars. They could basically look like really large pores. So TCA is a type of acid, and cross stands for chemical reconstruction of skin scars, I believe. Anyway, it's definitely a professional treatment, although I have seen some people online try this out for themselves at home. I personally didn't want to attempt it just because I was really worried about burning my skin and just causing more damage. Essentially, you fill the scar with a really high concentration of the acid, something between like 75 to 100%, I believe. And then you put on a solution after a while, I think sometimes like a minute, maybe that's too long, don't take my word for it. But yeah, after a short amount of time, you put a solution on to basically neutralize the acid. So you do this multiple times. This is a treatment that you don't just do once and then see results. You might see slight results, but yeah, you do it in a course of treatments and space them out. So essentially, that kind of burning, that kind of effect that the acid has, stimulates the collagen at a very deep level to basically start to produce. The next proven treatment is something that I did try and honestly was the biggest game changer, and that is microneedling. And I know if you already watch my channel quite a bit, you'll have seen lots of my videos talking about microneedling, demonstrating microneedling. I've got plenty of tutorials and ways in which I use really small needles to stimulate collagen and basically heal and improve my skin. Microneedling works by having small needles, as you would imagine, microneedles. I use a length of 2 millimeters when dealing with acne scars, because at that length it really does hit the lower levels of the dermis and you're far more likely to have more improved results. And that way you are stimulating that collagen. I would say when you're using a longer needle length, one is do your research, like really and truly do your research. I read all the instructions on a site called OwnDoc. I bought everything that I use for my microneedling treatments on OwnDoc and followed that to a T. And that I really do attribute to having such good results. But yeah, the microneedles, I would also say, because of the length of them, you really want to make sure that you're spacing these apart, because it's so important to give your skin time to regrow that collagen. You want to give it some time before you keep going in there with the same treatment. So I do this once a month. I am super happy with my results. Honestly, I am amazed, to be quite honest with you. So yeah, that's certainly a treatment that definitely helps for rolling scars. Laser therapy also works in a very similar way, but instead of having the physical needles, it works through having high energy light. Subcision is the next treatment that I quite heavily researched, but I kind of decided I wasn't the best candidate for it. Essentially, subcision means that you're able to get the scar to basically be released from the bottom by untethering these microfibers, which basically hold it down, like anchor it down. So by releasing those, like you use a needle or other instruments, basically to just cut those loose, which basically brings the scar back to the surface. I didn't believe that my scars, were really heavily tethered. I think I had 1 or 2, but I just thought the treatment was quite invasive, and I just didn't think I was necessarily the right person for that. I also found it really hard to find a dermatologist or anybody that was doing this professionally in the UK that had a lot of really great results. I always want to make sure that if I'm using something professionally, that I've seen their work before, but yeah, I couldn't really find anybody. One thing that I also looked into at the same time as subcision was dermal fillers, and you can either get these on their own or you can get them at the same time as subcision, and essentially, just like you get any fillers on your face, they basically plump up the skin, kind of replace the collagen, and yeah, refine the amount of scarring that you have. Some dermal fillers are more permanent than others. Some last and really do cause like a physical appearance underneath the skin. There are some examples of where this can go really wrong, so that's why I would always really recommend to go with something maybe less permanent to begin with. This is definitely the treatment option that I was going to go with if microneedling hadn't worked so well. I also wanted to shout out to vitamin A and vitamin C, because without those two things, those two ingredients, I really don't think I would have had the results that I had with microneedling. So I do think they've got a real big place to sit amongst other treatments, maybe not on their own, to work and help alongside them. So vitamin A, for example, could be any of the retinoids. I took Accutane, for example. I've also used tretinoin, I still do, which is a topical retinoid. You can also use vitamin A as like a supplement. For example, I take beef liver supplements, which are high in vitamin A. Cod liver oil tablets, for example, those sort of things have a high amount of vitamin A, which do help to turn over the skin surface quite quickly. So I found really good results using vitamin A alongside microneedling. I also used a vitamin C kind of tonic, kind of serum, I guess, which I make for myself. It's just water and vitamin C, and I use that to spray onto my skin, which really helps my skin to repair and rebuild that collagen as well. So I think that also has a really big place alongside some of these treatments. So if you're interested in microneedling and want to see for yourself exactly how I did this from home, then I'm going to put up a box on screen now, so go and click that. It will take you to a tutorial, which you definitely want to see if you're going to try this for yourself. So yeah, click that box and I will see you over there. Thanks guys.